My Lords, it's a very great pleasure to follow the Noble Lady Baroness Chakrabarti and agree with every word that she just said. And she noted that the UK is an outlier in the world on having an age of criminal responsibility of 10. Well, actually, I note that in my native Australia is actually now in the middle of the process of looking to raise its age at the age of 10, which was, I think, inherited from UK law. And so will be even more of an outlier with that development in Australia. Now, I'm speaking to Amendment 90, which appears in my name, but I want to stress that this is not in any way meant to be really a competing amendment with 89. I would support 89, but like the Noble Lady Baroness Chakrabarti, think it doesn't go far enough. So my idea of a review is that if you were to hold a review, as the Justice Committee in the other place recommended should be held last year, then you would actually arrive at a figure higher than 12. I think 14 is the obvious one. Now, I have to apologise that I wasn't available to present the corresponding amendment in committee because I was at the COP26 climate talks. But I do want to thank my noble friend Baroness Jones of Moulsecoomb for doing a great job of presenting it then, and also the Noble Lady Baroness Chakrabarti for supporting me in that stage. And I also want to apologise for, and this is an administrative oversight on my part, there was extensive debate around the wording of 2B in this, and it was my intention to change the wording, and I'm afraid it didn't. But I hope noble lords will look at the overall intention of this amendment rather than getting into the depths of discussion of the detail of the wording, since I have no intention of moving this amendment to a vote tonight. But I do particularly also want to just briefly draw attention to the fourth clause in this amendment, that the panel must consult with an advisory panel made up of young people currently and formerly in the youth justice system. And there's a principle there which I believe we should be following much more. People who have the lived experience, the experience of knowing what it's actually like to be the subject of the system, they have to be listened to. We have to really understand what the lived experience is like. Now, there's a real risk in the situation I find myself of thinking that everything has been said, but not by me. I'm going to try very hard not to do that. What I'm going to do is, rather than repeat all the arguments made on committee, I just want to pick up one sentence said there by the Noble Lord the Minister. And the Noble Lord the Minister, responding actually to the Noble Lady Baroness Butler-Sloss, said, "I have sought to set out why we believe that 10 is the correct age, given the way that our criminal justice system deals with children." And I want to, in that context, just point to comments by the Children's Commissioner, Anne Longfield, in late 2019, who called for a wholesale review of the youth justice system, saying youth court was, quote, "not a child-friendly environment where you could really help a young person and is not meeting the standards that we hoped," close quotes. And just some statistics from the end of 2019. Now, I hope the Noble Lord the Minister can tell me these have got better, but knowing everything I know about the state of the court system under COVID, I have to doubt it. Cases involving children were taking 40% longer than they did in 2010, with the slowest region, Sussex Central, taking 491 days on average to deal with the child's case. Reoffending rates for children were higher than they'd been 10 years before, with more than 40% of children committing an offence within a year of being convicted or cautioned. That's nearly double the rate for adults. And picking up a point made by the Noble Lady Baroness Chakrabarti, the proportion of children receiving a youth caution or sentence who were black, Asian or minority ethnic has almost doubled since 2010, from 14 to 27%. Now, the Noble Lord the Minister may well say to me that actually the number of children being dealt with by the courts has gone significantly down. But what experts say in response to that is that the children who come before the court now are much more those who come from the most dysfunctional and chaotic families, or indeed taken into care after having been in that family environment, where drug and alcohol misuse, physical and emotional abuse and offending is common. They do not need judgment. They need help. And they are children who have already been failed by our society. And putting them into the criminal justice system, however much, and I fully acknowledge that individuals within the criminal justice system do their absolute best for these children, but it really is not the right place. And also in committee, the Noble Lord the Minister said, well, we just don't accept that we're breaking the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. But I cannot see how you can square that with the declaration by the UN Committee on the Rights of the Child that 14 should be the minimum age of criminal responsibility.